Joel, what impact did climate change have on Virginia's gubernatorial election yesterday? The Democrat, Terry McAuliffe, defeated Republican Ken Cuccinelli, who many believe holds extreme views on climate change. Well, joining us live from Washington, D.C. is Politico reporter James Hotmann. James, let me just ask you this. How much did Cuccinelli's stance against climate change hurt him rather than McAuliffe's views for it?
Yeah, Mike, good to be with you. Climate change was definitely an issue, and Cuccinelli's strong views against climate change brought in millions of dollars in advertising spending from the League of Conservation Voters, from a billionaire environmentalist in California named Tom Steyer. And so Cuccinelli kind of had a record of not just kind of denying climate change, but also actively going after people who were looking into climate change, including a scientist at the University of Virginia. So that really galvanized a lot of the energy against him.
Well, I want to read you a quote from the press secretary of the League of Conservation Voters. "We got involved in this race because of climate change. Cuccinelli is one of the most vocal climate deniers in the country. To defeat him would send a signal to other climate change deniers and also highlight the growing environmental movement." What do you make of that statement?
Mike, Virginia is the quintessential swing state in America right now. The presidential race, the margin nationally was identical to the margin in Virginia. So it's really a bellwether, and the state is changing quite a lot. A decade ago, it would have been politically toxic for a candidate to run around kind of talking about wanting to do something on global warming because there's a huge area of the state that depends on coal. But the northern Virginia suburbs outside of D.C., a lot of kind of suburban middle-class folks who really do want to do something about climate change. So the state is divided, and the Democrats have decided that they would rather appeal to those moderates in the northern suburbs and worry less about the people in the coal fields.
That may have indeed played a role, putting now a Democrat in the governor's seat there. Will that play a role? Will this set the table, do you think, on this issue in the presidential election in 3 years?
Yeah, I think that this is something that will become an issue again. The last couple election cycles, people have been so worried about pocketbook issues because the economy has been hurting. So climate has not been near the top of the agenda because it's not something that affects folks in their daily lives that they feel. I think as the economy continues to recover, you'll see more focus back on this issue.
All right, James Hotmann from Politico. Appreciate your time this morning live from Washington.